The Las Vegas Raiders are hiding something big, and the entire NFL has no idea what's about to hit them at pick number 36. Here's the thing most people are sleeping on. While everybody's out here debating wide receivers and debating offensive weapons for the Raiders, there's one massive, terrifying, run-stopping monster sitting in the draft pool that Las Vegas absolutely needs to pull the trigger on. And his name is Chris Miller. But first, Raider Nation already got some good news. Fernando Mendoza is locked in. That pick is done. That celebration is coming. But the pick that nobody outside that Raiders facility knows about. That's number 36. That's the one that keeps the front office up at night. That's the one that could quietly be the most important decision this entire franchise makes in 2025. So here's the question every Raiders fan needs to ask themselves right now. Do you build a winner through offense, or do you build a wall on defense so terrifying that nobody can score on you in the first place? The debate everyone's having, and why they're wrong. Walk into any Raiders fan group right now and you'll hear the same names over and over. Omar Cooper, Jordan Tyson, Denzel Boston, receiver, receiver, receiver. And look, those are real players with real talent. Nobody's arguing that. But here's the cold truth. Receivers don't win you playoff games when your defense is giving up 30 points a Sunday. You know what does. A 6'6", 330-pound interior defensive lineman who runs a 5-flat 40 with a broken foot. That's not a player. That's a problem. For every offensive line in the AFC West. And if the Raiders are serious about making a postseason run, they are one elite interior lineman away from having a defense that could actually carry this team to the playoffs. The offense just needs to do its job. But that defense, with all the new pieces added this offseason, that defense has real potential. Real, scary, shutdown potential. Drop a name below. Who do you think the Raiders should take at pick 36? A receiver or a defensive lineman? Let's see where Raider Nation stands. The case for Caleb Banks, and why the risk is worth it before we even get to Miller. Let's talk about the elephant in the room, Caleb Banks. Yes, he's been dealing with a medical situation. Yes, he's not expected to be cleared for full football activities until June. And yes, every casual fan is going to call this a gamble the second they hear it. But here's what those casual fans don't understand. When a player stands 6'6", weighs 330 pounds, and can still move the way Banks moves, even while hurt, that's not a player who needs perfect health to be special. That's a player who, when fully healthy, would have been a top 5 pick in this entire draft class. Top 5. If he was 100% going into draft night, we wouldn't even be having this conversation. He'd be gone before the Raiders even got close. The only reason he's potentially available at 36 is because teams are scared of the injury. And that fear. That's the Raiders' opportunity. Second round. Calculated risk. Massive potential upside. That's not reckless, that's smart scouting. But wait until you hear what the film on Chris Miller actually shows, because this is where things get really interesting. Chris Miller, the good, the violent, and the terrifying. Let's be real about something up front. Miller is not a perfect prospect. Nobody in the second round is. And the film shows some things he absolutely needs to clean up if he's going to dominate at the next level. His awareness against combo blocks and double teams needs work. There are moments on film where he gets bumped off his spot more than you'd like to see from a guy his size. He pops up too high at times, which lets offensive linemen get their hands right into his chest and control him. And when he's 2 or 3 gapping, he sometimes holds onto his block assignment too long instead of locating the ball and shedding quickly. One specific issue: he occasionally throws his man to the wrong side and ends up out of position. That's a technique problem. It's fixable, but it costs him plays right now. And on the pass rush, athletic quarterbacks give him trouble. When the pocket collapses and a mobile QB extends the play, Miller has shown he can't always close the gap fast enough. Arch Manning, for example, just finds the check down and gets the ball out before Miller can threaten the pocket. Those are the negatives. Real ones. Worth acknowledging. Now here's the part that should have every Raiders fan leaning forward. The violence. The power. The reason you draft this man. The moment you watch Chris Miller work in the run game, the negatives start feeling a lot smaller. This man plays with a level of physical nastiness that you simply cannot coach into a player. Either you're wired that way or you're not, and Miller. He is absolutely wired that way. Watch him fire his hands into a blocker's chest and the blocker doesn't slow him down. The blocker goes back. Watch him lock out those 33-inch arms, which, by the way, is genuinely impressive arm length for an interior lineman, and completely control where his man goes. He doesn't just hold his ground. He decides where the offensive lineman ends up. That's dominance. That's what elite interior play looks like. Double teams. He doesn't panic. He works through them. He fights, he resets, and more often than not, he still gets in on the tackle. There are multiple plays on film where he takes on 2 blockers simultaneously and still manages to disrupt the run or make contact with the ball carrier. That kind of motor, that kind of relentless effort, that travels to the NFL. And here's something that makes Miller genuinely special compared to most nose tackle types. He can move. He's mobile enough to chase ball carriers going sideline to sideline. He gets down the line of scrimmage. He can play in stunts, looping from inside to outside and closing on the quarterback with real urgency. He recorded a sack on film chasing a quarterback from behind. He disrupted a throw while looping around on a stunt. He even forced an interception with his pressure on another play. That's not just a run stopper. That's a 3-down player in the making. And his versatility is the final piece that makes this a no-brainer conversation. Nose tackle. He can do it. 3 technique. Absolutely. 3-4 end. Yes. Even some 4-3 end snaps. Miller has the athleticism to handle it. The Raiders don't just get one type of player here. They get a chess piece that their defensive coordinator can move around and create problems with all game long. The final question: do the Raiders pull the trigger? So here's where it all lands. The Raiders have pick 36. The consensus outside that building says receiver. The smart money, the football money, might just say interior defensive lineman. Chris Miller is versatile, physical, mean, and talented enough to be a genuine impact player if the Raiders develop him right. Caleb Banks is a high-ceiling swing shot that could pay off in a massive way if the medical situation clears up in June. Either way, this pick at 36 is not a throwaway. This is the pick that the rest of the NFL isn't watching. This is the pick that could quietly reshape what the Las Vegas Raiders look like on defense for the next 5 years. Raider Nation, do they go get Miller at 36? Do they bypass him and hope he falls to the 3rd round? Or do they roll the dice on Banks and bet on the upside? You already know where the comment section is. Make some noise down there, because this conversation is just getting started. And if you want every Raiders draft update, every breakdown, every move as it happens, you already know what to do. Raider Nation, let's ride.